Oh boy. I don't know if I'm ready. Is it working? Looks like it's doing something, is it? No? Microphone? How we doing? Do we have microphone? Oh, we have microphone. All right. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for being here. It seems like I always am doing this for the first time. That's good, even on Twitch. Oh, good. Oh, good evening, Twitch. That's what Mr. Fixer says. How's it going? Rich got number 0. How'd you do that? Did you get here before we even started? You're before me. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for being here. Sweet. Wow. Hope you all had a good New Year's. Everybody have a good New Year's? I am poking around here real quick, trying to get some pictures up, because one of the things I would like to do is to share some pictures from like CES and stuff. There we go. All right. Now I think I'll be able to do it. Wee-haw. How's everybody doing? Reading the doc 5x5. What does that mean? Reading the doc 5x5? What's that mean? I don't know what that means. Oh gosh, I don't want to update anything. I just want to see stuff. Photo station. Anybody have a QNAP? Who's got a QNAP? What do you want to call it? Server, I guess. Let's see. We gotta switch these from the other direction. I want to loud and clear. Oh, good. Man, I need to arrange my QNAP stuff. Maybe I'll just do it by file station. Maybe I don't want to look at the close that, and then just look at the files. Might be the easiest way to do it. Synology. I had a Synology. The problem was I filled it up, and then it was just going to be too expensive to expand it and too like troublesome. Like I didn't really probably set it up in a way that makes it easy. Hey Javier, how's it going? All right, let's see. We're going to go to public and daddy and Dr. Z's 2. That's my phone and recents. All right, January 12th, movie files. Okay, great. This is going to work. All right, so let me tell you guys how it's going. So I went to CES. You guys know what CES is? Everybody probably knows what CES is. Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. My main purpose for going was to meet up with the Home Assistant guys. So that was the main purpose for me being there. Of course, there's lots of fun stuff to see, and it's always cool to kind of get the latest and greatest news of whatever fancy things they're putting out there. But I went to see the Home Assistant guys, and I got to. It was awesome. So Frank was there, Paulus was there. Like they brought, man, I don't even know how many people from their whole team. They probably brought 6 or 8 or something people. I don't know. They brought a lot. And then we also had a bunch of old timers. Here's the good stuff. When I say old timers, I mean like, look at this picture here. You see this? Let's see. We're going to open this in the browser. So it's big. All right. So you guys recognize it? Man, this picture's kind of blurry. Oh, you can't even tell. Let's see. Where's everybody? So there's Paulus. There's Frank. There's me over here. That's me. There's Travis, DigiBlur. There's Rob, Hookup Rob. This is Trevor from Apollo. He makes Apollo stuff. Oh, man. I can't remember his name, but he has a channel too. This is Miranda. She's one of the Home Assistant. This is Andy. He's one of the Home Assistant guys. Then you got the podcast, Home Assistant podcast dudes right here. You don't recognize them. This is another Justin from Apollo. This is Missy. She's part of the team from Home Assistant. This is, I didn't get to meet him. I think his name is, he's the guy that does the cloud-free store. Can't remember his name right now off the top of my head. Andrew or something maybe. like that. And then this is another Home Assistant team guy, I think, back here. And that guy's face is a little too blurry for me to recognize. Same right there, unfortunately. And her too. I don't know him. But anyways, we had a good time. One of the things that surprised me the most was, excuse me, Paulus is a monster. Paulus is a massive human being. He's like an offensive lineman. He's like 6'3" probably. I did not see that coming. So when you see him standing next to, see how big he is standing next to Frank? It's not like Paulus is in front of Frank. No, they're like right next to each other, and Paulus just looks that much bigger. It's really funny because Miranda down here, Miranda's like half his size. So Paulus is up here, Miranda's down here, or like halfway, kind of fun. But anyways, we had a great time. We closed down that bar that night. They had to kick us out. They actually like turned on these really bright lights on us finally at a few minutes after 10 o'clock when they were closing down. So we had a great time. It was really good to see everybody in person for the first time. I mean, I've been friends with some of these guys. I've seen Rob, Hookup Rob in person. We've been to CES 2 other times, I believe, together. But Frank, I've known Frank since like 2018, 19 maybe. And, I've had a virtual friendship for years and years and years, and had never gotten the chance to meet up. So that was really cool. And of course, Paulus and the gang. I mean, it was just really fun. It was a really good time. So, but CES in general. Hey, how's it going, Blade? Let me see what everybody's doing here. Marsh is here. All right. What'd I miss? Expecting smoke and sparks. We might be able to find something to smoke and spark a little bit here, Johnny. Took your advice and ordered a Bamboo P1S. It will be here on Tuesday. Can't wait. Ooh, good luck. Let me know how it goes. I need a new 3D. I don't need a new 3D printer. I need to not tell myself I do. Because I do not. I do not need a new 3D printer. But if I had one, I wouldn't complain. I would like to sort these in differently. Can I sort these differently? Dang it, stop that. I need to turn off the automation that keeps turning on my heater up at the Hobbit House. Hobbit. It's a Hobbit House. Let me see. I wish I could see these closer up. If I could see these closer up, I would know which ones would be best for viewing. I want to see them like in a grid, you know what I mean? Because I would like to show you some of the things that I saw at CES without showing you a bunch of dumb stuff you don't care about. Let me see if I can just go over here. Oh, that's what I need. List, large icons. Yes, this is what I need. That's what I need. Okay. I'm figuring this out. All right. Recent. These are not the most recent. Bummer. These are sphere videos, which I think I've shown you some sphere videos, haven't I? Is there only one day here? What's going on? Sorry, guys. Would really like to see these. I should have done this a little bit earlier, so this might not work out so well. So this is really old. So now I need to switch it so that it's showing it from different times, right? Is the Sphere 1 back from the dead? It is, John. The Sphere 1 is back from the dead. That's a great way to put it, too, because that really is where it was. File folder. Transcode information. Why is it doing it in this order? I want it in a different order. Ugh. Ooh, you got a nice Home Assistant dashboard for WLED? Todd, show us. What do you got? This is not showing me what I want. Recently uploaded. Dang it. Because even now, the ones that I was looking at are not there. So those are the favorites. Oh, that's why. These are the recents. But these aren't even all of them. Dang. Well, we can show you this. This is just this is the sphere, the rebuilt sphere. So it is rebuilt. I fixed some of those glitchies. See this? There's some glitchies in there. I fixed some of those. Some of it was just bad connectors. So I fixed some of that. I did go back through and do a lot of power injection. You probably can't appreciate it from the view you're getting, but a lot of by the time we got to the end of an output port for from the controller, we would have some dimming. So I did a bunch of power injection to fix that. I wonder why this is not showing the latest pictures, which I was pretty sure I passed through. Photo sync. Well, this is sucking. Well, let me tell you some things, I guess, and that's fine. We'll move on from the CES thing pretty quickly since I can't really look at everything. Hey, Jerry, how's it going? Jerry, I met your friends, the guys from Apollo. Met up with them at CES. Boy, they love you. Trevor and Justin, they love you. So that was fun. They talked very highly of you. Man, I wonder why. Maybe I will close this. Maybe I will go to Photo Station and see if anything different shows up here. See, these are all like in backwards order, or they're on like weird order. I'm gonna get all my pictures now. 2025 January. Yeah, that's better. See, I got some pictures here. Yeah, so there it is. That's so weird. Why would that not be the same? But whatever. Here it is. Okay, so this is great. This is great. Now I can show you some things that I saw at CES. Wonderful. Okay, so I told you I went to CES. So my purpose when I go to CES, and I've only gone a couple times, but when I'm wandering around, for any of you that have been there, it is absolutely overwhelming. There is so much stuff, and it takes a lot of effort to weed through the mediocre stuff to find the really good stuff. And so when I'm walking around there, I am not looking for like something that is just a little bit better than it was before, a little bit brighter TV, a little bit thinner TV, a little bit bigger, whatever, better AI for your car. There was a lot of that. There was a bunch of things like speakers and I mean, I don't mean speakers like people talking. I mean like sound speakers, right? Scooters, powered scooters. Like these things are not like groundbreaking, new, exciting, different things. Hello, talking internet person. Hello, listening internet person, John. How's it going? So, anyways, what I liked to really see at CES were things that were different, things that were like not just like an incremental increase or an incremental improvement. They were like something completely different. So I want to show you one of the things that I went there to see that I knew was going to be there, that you may have heard me talk about a little bit before, but you're going to hear me talk about it a lot now. This is the Aptera. So this is a car. It's a 3-wheel car that is built to be as efficient as possible, meaning it's going to use the least amount of energy possible to move two people at freeway speeds. That's the goal. So it's, as you can see, the shape is very unique, very different than most cars. We think cars that we drive are aerodynamic, but they are not as much as they could be if they were willing to change the shape and the look. This is like the ideal shape for for aerodynamics, and that reduces the drag when you're trying to push this thing down the road at highway speeds. So it's super aerodynamic, but not just, so that's what that does, what the aerodynamics part does, is it makes it so that it uses, like, depends, and they're in the process. They've got their production intent cars built, and they're doing the testing stuff now, so they'll get their absolute numbers. But as far as their simulation numbers, so when you're driving like a Tesla, say, it will take about 300 watt hours per mile. This thing will take about 100. So it takes a third less energy to move this than it does a Tesla. You couple that with putting 700 watts of solar on the car, and if you can park in the sun, in a sunny place, you can get up to like 40 miles of driving range every day without ever plugging the car in. It's got a battery, and because it's so efficient, the battery goes a lot longer. So this one, the introduction model is a 400 mile battery, but they're going to have a 1,000-mile battery, which is amazing, right? 1,000-mile battery. So anyways, it's really cool. But besides that, it's super efficient. I love that. The shape is very different. I think that's fine. I think there's gonna be a lot of people that are like, no way I'm ever driving that thing, and that's fine. But to me, what matters most is the function of it. But then a thing that they've done that is super different is the way they built it. So you could say, well, a car that's more efficient is just an incremental step, and that's true. But the way that they build this is what's completely different. So this is built out of a, can I zoom in this even farther? Can't tell. It doesn't really look like it. Anyways, I'll just talk about it then. So what it's built out of, I've got some more pictures so that we'll get a little bit closer up. But it's the main structural components of this are oh gosh, what do they call it? Something like reinforced carbon fiber. It's like they make this mush of carbon fiber stuff and get it all heated up, and then they press it in a mold, and then it cools over like 15 minutes or something like that. And then they've got these parts. So this whole, like, the main structure of the car is only like, I don't know, like 10 parts or something like that. It's like super, I want to say, when I say efficient, I mean like they don't use a lot of parts. If you think about the number of parts that go into building a regular car, it's massive, right? I mean, it's thousands. And even just the frame itself is like hundreds. This is very simple in its function, in its construction, because of the way that they're able to design and then mold these parts. It's built more like a race car than like a standard consumer car. And so that stuff is really light. That stuff is really recyclable for what that's worth to you. And strong at the same time. And then it's molded so that everything is like perfect. So you glue things together. You don't have to weld things together. There are connectors, but like screws and bolts and stuff, but the majority of it is held together with an adhesive. So it's bonded together. And then the other parts of the body. So this is what it looks like up close. It's kind of like a marbled look to it. So this isn't dirty. This is like this marbled look. So all of the structural pieces inside the car and underneath the car and stuff have this marbled black look to them. But then these panels on the side here, this is how they come out of the mold as well. So these are made out of a slightly different carbon fiber material, but it comes out with this like silvery metallic-y color. So you don't have to paint it. You can put a wrap on it. That's great. But there's no painting. There's no paint booth. They don't have to, go through all that process of sanding and flattening and layers and layers and layers of paint and layers of clear coat. It just comes out like this. So as far as the manufacturing process goes, that saves massive amounts of energy and time and waste and all the stuff you have to deal with if you're trying to get rid of paint, if you have a paint booth or whatever. So anyways, I thought this car, I was really excited to go see it. I got to go see it. I got to go sit in it. As we go through my picture share, I get to sit in it here in a minute and stuff. So there's a few pictures like that. So what else did I see? I'd be worried about an accident. So it's as far as, so what is that, Marsh? Like, you mean the crush of it? So it's basically, and they're going to do the crash testing and they'll get the crash test results. But because of the shape, it's like an egg, right? It's like an egg. So as far as, the crushing of it, it's got actually quite a bit of strength compared to, sort of the frame cars that we build, where we have to we have to reinforce this area or reinforce that area. There are some things that they reinforce here as well, but because of the shape, it's actually quite strong. So in an accident, you're actually, and they're going to have, even though it's technically, because it's 3 wheels, it's technically like an auto cycle. So they don't have to do a lot of the things that a car manufacturer has to do, like airbags and things, but they're doing them anyways. So they're going to have airbags, it'll be side airbags, top airbags, front airbags, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it'll be interesting. It's very different. I thought it was going to feel really small. It doesn't feel really small, but it does feel smaller than a regular car, especially like where you put your feet. Where your feet go down at the bottom, it was really kind of small. So it's like a small car when it comes to an accident. Yeah, it is. It's nothing. It'll be interesting to see. Of course, what they're saying is, it's potentially safer because everybody says that, but but I think it's going to be plenty safe. I don't know that it's going to be any worse, but it'll be interesting to see because they'll do their crash testing this year, so they'll get some actual numbers on that. As far as they've done lots of computer simulations of it, and according to that, it does really well. Anyways, I was really excited about that. So a couple other things. Let's see what else I took pictures of. So this is Lightship. Lightship is one of a couple of different like fifth wheel RVs that were there. What makes these couple of different fifth wheel RVs that I cared to look at? One was Lightship, the other was Pebble. Have you guys heard of either of those? Here's what's unique about them, and I think these are going to be these two are out now, but this is going to be the standard. I'm sure that this is going to be the standard. They now have a drivetrain. So a trailer like this, a fifth wheel like this, has a drivetrain. So it's got an electric motor, it's got a battery pack, and it has sensors on the trailer connection so that when it feels that the truck starts to pull, it starts to move on its own. And it balances. So if it feels that the truck starts to slow down because of the sensors in the trailer ball, it will slow down. So it tries to just maintain speed with the truck. So what that means is whatever you would normally lose in gas mileage, or especially with electric trucks, whatever you would lose in your range because of pulling a big trailer like this, you won't lose anymore because this thing is basically pushing itself. All you're doing is sort of steering it. Super cool. And then because of that, it's got the ability to do things like self hitching. So according to these guys, you park your truck, or was it these? Oh, they both actually said it. These guys and the Pebble guys. You park your truck as long as you're within like 10 feet of the trailer here. There's an app, and you can say, okay, hitch. And this thing will, because it can move the two wheels independently, it can turn like a tank. So it can turn and it will drive and it will hitch itself to your truck. Is that crazy? I suspect they'll be able to make it safe in the same way a driver cell in a race car holds up. Sure, good enough. The repairs might be prohibitively expensive. I think if you crash that thing, it's totaled. I think. They do have, going back to Aptera for a minute, they are very right to repair strong. So they said every part on this car is going to have, its little code that they use for manufacturing. And if you need one, if you break something, like, it's going to have these panels like think about those wheel covers, right? How many times are those wheel covers going to get banged up? And they're trying to make them out of materials that are going to make it so that they don't get destroyed too easily. But come on, every time you rub a curb, I'm sure they've got sensors. They've got things that are going to try and get it so that you don't do very much. But you can imagine, right? You hit that and you break something, right? Or there's suspension pieces under there. Who knows? or pieces on the interior too, whatever, you break a handle off or something like that. Supposedly you're going to be able to just scan the code, tell them which part you need, and then you can get the part from their factory. They're not going to tie you into needing to, like Tesla, like you cannot touch anything on your Tesla, right? So they're going to the total opposite of that. Hey, Turtle, how's it going? Thought there were burger vans selling refreshments and people queuing up for food. Oh, that's in the background over there. They actually, that does look like they could use it for that, right? It could be used for that, but these are for camping. These are for camping specifically. So anyways, they do the thing where they latch you up and you can connect to your trailer. And then of course it's got like 1100 watts of solar on top. So if you're parked for a few days, you can charge your battery back up somewhat. I bet you wouldn't charge it up probably enough to get home unless you were sitting there for like a week and it was really sunny and some of those things. But anyways, it was really cool. And I think that technology, the idea of having a fifth wheel trailer or any trailer that has an electric drivetrain and a battery pack and some very simple sensors. I mean, at this point with we've been playing around with the segways and those kinds of sensors and motor responses long enough now that we're pretty good at it. And every trailer at some point soon is going to have its own drivetrain and its own ability to hitch itself and to push itself down the road and to stop for that matter too. So, can you imagine like right now, how often does a trailer come disconnected because somebody didn't finish hooking it up right and it goes and wreaks havoc on the freeway, by just going off on its own? Something like this, it could detect that and it'll stop and pull over. So pretty sweet. Pretty cool. Anyway, so I think that's going to be a big thing that you see. And to be honest, I was surprised at how little it really changed the price. It's about $20,000 to $30,000 extra, which when you're buying one of these anyways, and they're $100,000+, that's not so bad to spend an extra 20,000 or something like that, 20 something thousand to have it, not cost you extra gas to drive, have the battery pack and all that stuff so that all of your stuff inside, like your air conditioning, all that stuff is going to work really well too. So it'll be cool for camping. Watch the sunrise, then just have your camper spin itself and watch the sunset. Nice. My kind of van, smart burger van, free burgers. So this is a bunch of Aptera stuff here. So these were flying cars or a flying car. I took a picture of this just because I'm like, this is an example of something you'll never actually see, right? There's a lot of this at CES too. Like they'll put stuff out there and you'll never actually see this. And this particular one, what made it so unique is that this Cybertruck looking thing, which is not a Cybertruck, it's their own thing. It's built to have that, the drone helicopter thing land in the back of it. So this is the aircraft carrier. That's what they were calling this thing, the aircraft carrier, because it's supposed to, land that quadcopter thing in the back of it. Is that the flying car for the mothership? I get, yeah. This is the mothership of the flying car, exactly. Yep. You saw a video about it? Yeah. So this I thought was actually kind of cool. This is one of these omnidirectional wheels, but what these guys are doing is they've got a system built where they take these. It's basically a modular self-driving components. So you've got, say, whatever. Of course, for them, they try and go with industry more than for normal people stuff. Open source on this stuff. How was the chatter about open source on this stuff? Oh, for the Home Assistant guys, there was some, but not for a lot of these guys. Yeah, it looks like sausages. So anyways, these guys, so you have a thing you need to move around, whatever it is, really heavy something. You get 4 of these or 3 if you have 3 wheels, whatever your thing is, or 6, whatever it is. You basically, they have a place on the top where you can mount your whatever, your piano, your couch, your robot for your factory, whatever. on top of it, and it will then autonomously move around. So basically, it's a modular thing that can make any big, heavy piece of whatever autonomous. And you program it and say, I want you to go over there. And it'll go and it'll like avoid you. And this thing was like, it was driving this this thing around the floor at CES. And if you got in its way, it would stop and it would kind of move and it would, it would find a new path to get to where you had told it to go. I thought that was actually pretty cool. I thought, now that's genius, because you're making it in a way that anybody could use it for anything. Whatever it is you want to move around and make it autonomously move around a factory floor or whatever, you can do it with these. And you don't need to rebuild your whole thing. If your thing already has a base on it, this just goes under the base, and then it's got all the smarts in there to move around however you want. Very cool. Advanced aerial mobility will be flying in the UAE this year and a couple of years in the US. Advanced aerial mobility. Is that flying car, guys? Let's see what these guys got. Advanced aerial mobility. Okay, so yeah, basically we're like people sitting in a drone kind of thing, right? That would be pretty cool. That'd be amazing to see what that starts to look like when you've got things like that kind of on the roads or in the skies, huh? Is that what you're saying, Todd? Curious to see if more companies are joining in on open sourcing. Boy, I did not see a lot of that, Blade. I can tell you, I did not see a lot of that. Under my mother-in-law's chair at Thanksgiving. Yes, we can send her away. Love this idea. Tests in Jersey a little bit ago. Any chance? Yeah, right. Okay, so this was another one of these, like, to me, was like a monumental step. This wasn't just a little bit better widget. This was like a whole new way to do an electric motor, and it was super cool. So this is the donut motor. Have you guys heard of the donut motor? They actually already have a motorcycle that you can buy that uses this motor, and this is what it looks like. So you can see the frame here is fixed to these rings on the inside of the motor. So everything that you're seeing here, all this stuff, it all stays still. Even on this side, this is connected to this part of the motorcycle. So the rim itself is connected to the frame. And then the power comes in there. And then what spins is just basically the rim, the tire and the rim. Super cool. And apparently, because of the way they build it or whatever, it's like massive horsepower compared to even regular sorts of electric motors. So that's really cool. So, and then I took this picture because that motorcycle's for sale. You can buy that motorcycle now, but they've got this, and I took another picture of it later on. They've got this Unitrack snowmobile looking thing, which seems so fun. So it would seem really fun because not only would it go, straight and whatever, you can climb hills, you can lean to turn and stuff. So pretty cool. Designed by a guy named Tony Stark. Hey, C Sharp Worm, how's it going? What else we got here? So there was some sleeping stuff. I took some pictures of this. I have a hard time sleeping. Anybody recognize that fella? You guys recognize him? I'll give you guys a minute to answer. Who recognizes this guy? And he's not standing on something. He is that much taller than these regular tall humans next to him. If that gives you any hint. It is not Shaquille O'Neal. Take that one off the list right away. Anybody know? I'll give you another few seconds to answer. Then I'll come back to it. So this was me at the Aptera thing again later on. The sun was setting at this point. I went back to go see it again. This time I took some pictures of myself inside of it. That was just some guy who works for Aptera, making sure I wasn't going to break it. These are some things of the dash. This is actually solar panels on the dash too. I didn't really like the way that they looked. They were kind of wavy. Let's all scan the Bears QR code. But this is kind of what the interior looks like. It's got a yoke steering wheel. This little panel right here is the rear view mirrors. So you can see a right and left rear view mirror. This is the infotainment and all the buttons. I'm a fan. Kendrick Perkins, good job, Old English. You win. Michael Orr, nope, but it's Kendrick Perkins. Good job. Yep, that was Kendrick Perkins. I watch a lot of Sports Center, and Perk does a lot of commentary on basketball, so I see him all the time. So when I was walking around, I was like, hey, that's Perk. I know that guy. I don't really know him, but I feel like I know him because he tells me about basketball every night. So a couple of interesting things here. This actually, the vents that do like the air conditioning and everything and the heating are around here. I don't know if there's others. There might be others in other places, but at least the central ones are just in the what do they call it? The bezel of this infotainment. So that was kind of cool. Big fan when he was on the Celtics. Nice. What else was I going to say about the interior here? Oh, this thing is very dependent on the touchscreen. And I am becoming less and less a fan of touchscreen controls for things. It's fine for some things, but nothing critical. If it's critical, I want buttons. There's this picture here, if we get to it later on, where there was this like Jeep, real fancy, modern Jeep looking truck. And it was, 4-wheel drive, electric, 4-wheel steering, like all the fanciness. And then you look inside of it, and it was all mechanical switches. I don't even think they had a touch screen in there at all. It was all mechanical switches. These things fail, right? And maybe that's fine. And maybe I need to just embrace some of that. And I get it that it's fun and cool. But how often does it just not work as well as you want? Or how often are you flipping through a bunch of menus to try and get to the thing you want? I just want to flip a switch. Maybe I'm old, and maybe the younger kids aren't going to agree with that. But I would like to see a combination. This plus give me some manual buttons, right? Radio controls, some climate controls should all be mechanical. Thank you, John. We are on the same page. Plenty of headroom in this. I'm not a tall guy, but there's plenty of headroom in this. The windows, I thought this would be kind of a distraction, this bar here in the window, but it wasn't too bad. It was pretty good. It didn't really get in the way. The only part that rolls up and down is this part right here. And the armrest was comfortable and all that stuff. It felt like it was encroaching a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. Adaptable buttons. Small OLED screen to show what it's doing. Best of both worlds. Oh, that's a good idea, John. So you know what? Kind of like a Steam Deck. Kind of like the Steam Deck buttons, where they're actual, or Stream Deck. They're actual buttons that you press, but it can show you something behind that, right? It's got a little bit of a display, so it'll show you what that button currently does at that moment. But when you press it, it's an actual button. So yeah, that's a good combination. It's good there. Yep, this is me driving the Aptera, yay. And the only real part that I think was a problem, Perkins would have a hard time in this, right? He would have a hard time in this. And the other thing was the door here. It looks like, I think it'll be fine. It'll take a little getting used to, because you kind of got to back into it. You can just try and jump in like you would jump in a normal car. But the easier thing to do is to kind of put your butt in first. So you kind of face away from the car, and you got to be careful not to hit your head on this, and then sit down and swing your legs in. Nothing mainstream. Yeah. Lots of these pictures. I really went to see this car. That was a big part of it. Number one was the Home Assistant guys. Number two is this. This was this fancy, I don't know if you guys have seen this on the internet. I don't know why it's getting so much attention, but it's this Dungeons and Dragons pinball machine. I played it. It was fine. That's all I'll say about it. Oh, this is Dawson's wrestling tournament. He won. There's me and Frank. Yay. And there's Travis. And that was the end of the Penn State Notre Dame game on back there. These massage chairs, I was taking this picture to tell my wife, yeah, I think we probably need to get one of those at some point. Oh, I tried a lot of these AR. I tried a lot of AR glasses. I probably tried on 4 different pair of AR glasses. Didn't like any of them. The closest to being usable were probably the X Real, and I can understand why. They've actually already had some out. I don't know about Ray Neo. I don't know if these guys have anything out. But the X Real were okay, but none of them were great. So we're not quite there yet when it comes to that stuff. Hey, baby. I do not know where Dawson is. Nope. this was cool. This was a speaker system that sits on your shoulders. Mwah, I love you.
Love y'all.
It's a speaker system that sits on your shoulder. So instead of a headset, you know, when you're like gaming or whatever, or even if you're just watching TV, you put it on you just set it on your neck. You hardly know it's there. You really don't feel it at all. And then it's got surround sound that's like right there by your head, but it's not so loud that when somebody comes up and talks to you, you can't hear what they're saying. I actually thought this thing was pretty cool. And it's like $300, I think. So $300. So it's the price of a very expensive headset. And I would expect, I don't know if it does any rumbling or anything like that, but it might. Oh, and it has a microphone, of course, so you can communicate with it. So next time I am in the market for a headset, I'm going to get something like this. This was by somebody, well, it says Sound Slayer, but this was by somebody who actually makes a fair bit of this stuff. Apparently, I didn't take too many pictures of that. So I took a picture of this because I thought it was so saturated with AI. Oh my gosh, everybody had AI in their signage and all that stuff. I was like, come on with the AI, give me a break. So I took a picture of this just as a reminder that everything is like AI your life. So these were the X-Reel ones that I took a picture of. Need a neck massage? Yeah, maybe put it in your neck massager. Oh, it'd be nice. Or just put on some bass, boom, 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 and it'll just... but anyways, these are the X-Reel glasses. They hook up to anything with USB-C that can output as a display. So that was useful for them. I thought that was a good thing. Some of these other ones, like this one you had to have this other pan or this other thing, this other controller to it. And a couple of them had that were like this, that you had to have some other thing attached to it. Not as useful, I don't think, as this, where it just connects to whatever it is you want to connect it to. So this was pretty good. These were the X-Reel, but they're $600. So we're not there yet. Give them a few more years, maybe they'll be useful. Here I am back at the Aptera again. This is some more stuff about the interior. The seats were okay. They weren't really bucketed. They were kind of flat. That's fine. They did have a nice big drink holder here, a little zippy kind of glove box thing here. And then, like I said, the foot area where you put your feet as the passenger and the driver is where I think it's going to be tight. Yeah, so I took a picture there to see, look how tight that is for my feet. And I don't have big feet, but my feet, even up against the side rest here, were kind of like rubbing the brake pedal. So that's a little tight. That's a little tight. These are some of the stats that they talk about. 10 times more efficient than a typical car. 40 miles on daily solar range. What is this? 32.5 cargo space. Oh, I think I got some pictures of the cargo area. Reduce CO2, 400 mile range, 40K, which has gone up. It was 30 something initially, but as you can expect, I just want them to actually be able to get it to production. That's what I'm hoping for most of all. So let's see, more pictures. There's another picture of that snowmobile. So this was kind of cool. This was a holographic windshield display. I think I got more pictures of this later, but basically it's you know how, does any of you guys have cars that have a heads-up display in them? So the heads-up display in the cars typically doesn't work very well. And there was a time where the thing you could do was get an app on your phone, you set it on your dashboard, and it puts it kind of reverses it or whatever, mirrors it, and puts information on your dashboard about, like, you could even do your maps, but you could do your speed and that kind of stuff, and it would kind of reflect it off your windshield, and you could see it was kind of a heads-up display. Hey, Jerry, was that you? You were there? All right. Yeah, it was good to meet you. So the difference, the heads-up display doesn't work great the way that it is in most cars right now. And part of that is because, like, the windshield is the windshield is thick. So what you'll see is like a doubling of the image, and it kind of messes with your eyes a little bit. It's just not that comfortable to look at. So it's not great. What these guys have done is they have a film that you put on the windshield or any other glass that you want to have a display on. And it's made so that normally when you're looking at it, you don't see anything. You can't tell. It was like slightly tinted, but really, in most cases, you wouldn't really see the difference between the regular glass and the glass that has the this film on it. And then because of that film, if you project from a certain angle, and if you're looking from a certain angle, you can see whatever you project really clearly, and you can still see what's behind it. You can adjust the transparency if you had a display, if what you were projecting was a solid instead of just like just the letters or numbers or arrows or whatever. So that was actually really cool. And they compared it. They had, and hopefully I'll get to the video here. They showed where they had a regular projector screen, what that would look like, what theirs looks like at the certain angle on the glass, and then just plain glass. And it was really actually quite dramatic. So I think that might finally make it so that we get real good heads-up displays in our cars with a lot of really good information. So heard a few things, but not sure if it can be shared. Oh, let's see. Was there a mention of a Home Assistant Z-Wave dongle? Shh. I will say this. If you're in the market for a Z-Wave dongle, don't buy one yet. Okay? Because there will be something that you will want in place of whatever it is you have. I'll tell you that. I'll leave the rest for the Home Assistant guys to do their announcing as they get closer. But definitely right now, if you're in the market for a Z-Wave dongle, hold off. Okay? I think that's fun. What did I do a video here? Probably. Oh yeah, this is a little bit of walk around of the video of the car. I think the blinking lights was because of the the hertz, the frequency or whatever. This is like a preview, so this video is actually kind of grainy. But getting in there and hitting your head is kind of something you got to watch out for. They said that the way that this car and the windshield and stuff are shaped, it's similar to like some helmets, like motorcycle helmets, and that you don't get bugs. You won't get bugs splattered on the windshield here because of the shape and everything, the way that the bugs will just blow past. They'll get pushed over or around or whatever. Is this fun for you guys? You guys good for doing this? I don't want to waste your time if you're not as interested in this as I am. Oh, this was the screen. Yeah, this is the stuff. So this is the projector. This is the film. And this is a regular. I do have some more pictures. I do have some video of that coming up here. Let's find it. These are just a lot of close-ups. So I'm going to make a video about the Aptera. So this was a lot of the close-ups. This is the big storage area here. I don't know. This looks like something I got my... Okay, this was kind of fun. So you guys have heard me talk about making a pixel mobile. Your helmet does not have that feature, Jerry. Don't trust anyone else to make a Z-Wave dongle. Once SI Labs introduced that massive bug in the software stack, been impossible to upgrade beyond 500 series. Oh man. Yeah, you can definitely count on the Home Assistant guys to introduce good hardware, because if they're not going to make a ton of hardware, but they're going to make the stuff that they need and the stuff we need, right? When they're happy to let other companies make hardware as long as they're making it good. And if they're not, then they're going to say, this is how you should do it. And they'll put it out. So it's coming out. Anyway, so this, I've talked about making a pixel mobile, right? A car that's covered in pixels. This is like the extreme, right? These guys have taken the grill, I think that's what you would call that, of the Tesla Model Y and replaced it with like a P1 or P2.5 maybe matrix that's flexible and that can display whatever you want it to display. So how cool is that? And it's, right now they're just doing it for that one model of car because you have to kind of make it, so that it is exactly right. But pretty cool, right? And I think he said it was like a $3,000 thing to buy. So for people who have a whole lot of money, fine. Or if you want to advertise, you can do that for advertising. I think you do that, but you do it with you do it with a little bit less customized, whatever, and you just can put it on the windows and stuff like that. This was just a picture of a drivetrain that I thought was smart because it's just the whole thing built in. It's differential, both motors all the way out to the wheel hubs. The rims bolt right onto this thing, and then this thing it's got the inverter in there and everything. This thing just connects to the battery, and that's pretty cool. Hey, see you, Jerry. Thanks for stopping by. You still want the Jetsons? Make it look like a Lightning McQueen car. Yep. This is Pebble. This is the other one of those powered drivetrain sort of RVs. I actually liked, this is funny to me, I liked the Lightship a little better only because of the way they arranged the bathroom. With the Pebble here, the bathroom was like right in the middle. And I don't think I took pictures of it, but the bathroom was big, which is okay. I mean, that's fine. It's an important part of your experience when you're doing a camping RV-ish thing. But it was really big, took up a lot of space, and it was clear glass that had you press a button and then it would go opaque, so you couldn't see through it. It was like, come on, man. I'm here, run the animations. Wait. How about this, Creative? Right? You made that. Didn't you? Pretty sure you did. I don't know anybody else that makes them, so must have been you. So if I was going to choose between the Pebble and the other one, I would probably... you still love your Coleman pop-up? Yeah. I don't know that I will ever be in the market for one. I would like to. Like if it was just me and if I had the income, I would definitely have one. But Janice, I don't know that she's... Every time I talk about it, she's like, why do you want one of those? Why do you care so much? I'm like, But anyways, the way that they put the bathroom in the Lightship, it was at the back. It was all at the back here, which was nice because then you had all your living space and you didn't think about it. It was like right in the middle, so there was like this narrow little hallway between the bathroom and the sink. And I was like, I didn't like the way this one was laid out as much. And of course, because these are brand new, they don't have a lot of options. You'd rent one. Yeah, that's the thing to do, to rent one. This, I just thought I'd take a picture because this was the ID Buzz. And there's not a lot of cars at CES. There's a lot of car add-on technology at CES. So that's what they were showing off here. This is a self-driving adaptation to the VW Buzz, the ID Buzz. I'm not a big fan of the ID Buzz. The biggest reason I'm not a big fan of the ID Buzz is because it just looks like a minivan to me. It doesn't really look like the old bus. I think the Canoe, if you remember that car, which I talked to a guy from this Canoe company who they're on their last leg. They'll be out of business here pretty soon. They're running out of money. But I think this vehicle is way cooler looking than the ID Buzz, especially when you can do like a truck options or whatever. But apparently these guys they're never going to make it. They've spent like $1.5 billion, and they're selling their equipment. They're laying off their people. It's over for them. They're in the end of it. But the design and everything of this is so much better than the ID Buzz. So, I didn't see the Kia Weekender concept. Let me see. Car adjacent. You guys are awesome, by the way. Thanks for being here. Canoe is awesome. Too bad they'll disappear. Maybe Elon can buy them. Yeah. I hope somebody makes a car like that. And I see a car like that and I think, why can't like GM or Ford or Tesla or Toyota or something pick up on that and go, oh, that's the design people like? Okay, great. Let's do that instead of just letting them die. Kia Weekender, huh? Oh. That's cool. That is cool. Yeah. This is just their concept. You think they're going to actually make this? It'd be cool if they did. It was at SEMA. I don't think I'll ever qualify to get to SEMA. I got to try. What I need to do is build some more electric conversions and then maybe I can qualify to get into SEMA. I've been following Canoe for a couple years at least, and I really like them. I really love the design and the way that they've done everything in here. It's just really too bad that they're never going to make it to market. All right, where are we at? Let's keep going. Oh, so this is a demo of that. Let's see if this works out. This is a demo of that film. Oh, no, that was the bad demo of the film. This is the good demo of the film. Okay, so this is just plain windshield. This is windshield with the film, and this is a projector screen. All right, so and if you get close or you get at the wrong angle, it like disappears. Like you can't really see anything. And then you back up and you go right at the right eye level. Now you can see it. And it even was clearer and brighter than the projector screen. But see, like from the passenger side, you wouldn't even be able to see anything. So very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. And it's really not complicated stuff. This is a film. This is just a film that's got whatever polarized little doohickeys and a regular old projector in the dashboard. So this is totally doable. This, I think, we'll definitely see. Canoes from Oklahoma. Yep, sad they're going bankrupt. These designs are very reminiscent of futuristic aesthetic of the movie Demolition Man. Nice. Hey, Ferenc, how's it going? Oh, and this, I took a picture of this because this is, you recognize this? Like, look at this pattern, okay? And then think about the Aptera and what the pattern looked like on the carbon fiber pressed Aptera pieces, which were not finished. I mean, they were finished in that nothing else is going to happen to them. And that's the point, right? Nothing else has to happen to them for them to have that look. Yet this was on like the Honda's like super concept vehicle, and the aesthetic, the pattern that they're going for on a lot of their stuff, like on their rims and on this edges down here and stuff, it was that carbon fiber pressed look. And this was like a wrapper or whatever, right? This was like painted on there. But for the Aptera, that's just how the part comes out of the mold. So I thought that was kind of cool. This is the Vanderhall. This was the Jeep I was telling you about. So 4-wheel steering, dual electric motors, like super cool looking off-road thing. And then you go inside and it's buttons and switches, baby. Analog gauges and buttons. Big old toggle switches. I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And then I ran into the Lumery guys, and the Lumery guys were just showing me some stuff. This was super cool. This is a drone that is going to have, and this is, this is a concept, obviously, that hasn't happened yet, but it's a drone that has 8 motors that are pointed in angles. And of course, as you can imagine, the shape is what caught my attention. Oh, did I really only take one picture of that? Oh, boo. Oh, I thought I would have taken more pictures of that. That's a bummer. Anyways, it's a sphere, right? And so this is part of it. And then they have actually a frame that goes outside of this that is like reinforced. And I'm just thinking, well, you'd put a bunch of LEDs on that and fly that thing around. That'd be super cool. So not that you could do it in like solid LEDs, but like, just on the bars, on the rims of the structure. I thought, oh, that would be super cool. And I think that's about it. This was a little bit more. That was like the Aptera. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I did take a little bit more of it. So this is what it looks like. This is this drone, 8-motor drone right here. So 8 motors all pointing in these crazy different directions. And then it's in this like geodesic triangle-based frame. And I thought, oh, that would be so cool. Even if you just put LEDs on those junction points, even if you just had pixels on the junction points, you could make this thing look super cool flying through the air, right? So who knows if something like this I think would get to market because it's not that complicated. It's not that, and it can't be that expensive to get it there. So I would bet we'll probably see those. This is Dawson winning first place in his wrestling tournament. He pinned this monster dude right here. I'll show you this. You guys want to watch Dawson pin somebody? I'll just show you this for a second. This guy was a beast. This guy was so strong. Seeds, yeah. So this was the second period. If you know wrestling, this was second period. This guy was so muscly. He was so strong. But Dawson's got really good technique. Dawson's strong too, but he's got really good technique. So now this guy tries to pick him up, just tries to out-muscle him, which he was strong. But Dawson's got him in technique here. He'll get him in a second. Watch this. Dawson's just planning him out, just planning it out. He's like, oh, oop, I almost got his leg. No, can't have my. Dawson's like, oh, I got his arm. Oh, and now I got his leg. Oh, I know what to do. Look at this. Now he's got him. He's like, he's going nowhere now. I got his arm and I got his leg. He can't get out of this. He can't get out of this. He just kept rolling him, and he pins him here in a second. Pinned him. Yeah, he was pumped. That was fun. That was me responding. So anyways, there we go. So that was the tour through CES. What else? It was fun. Wasn't he like 4 foot tall like 5 minutes ago, Jeremy? Ain't you right? Golly, man. He has grown. He's a big dude. He's a big dude now, Dawson. He's fun. So it was really good for him to get to do that. He got first place. That was the championship round there for his weight. So he won first place. That was really fun. Considering 2 years ago, I think he might have won. Like 2 years ago was his first year doing wrestling. He might have won like 1 or 2 matches, you know. And this year he's only lost 3 and he's won like 20. So it's been fun. So that's CES. Questions, concerns, other things CES-ish you want to talk about, and then I'll tell you about the other stuff that I've got planned for this year. And we can talk about it. It was really good to get together with was it Jerry that commented here, and there were a few other people that showed up just to meet everybody. And it was very like rejuvenating for me and Travis and Rob. Well, I think Rob's still pretty into it, and Travis is definitely what's his name? DigiBlur Travis was still, he's still producing stuff, content and stuff. But we talked a lot about like how the YouTube race has changed, and too much AI feels like bell bottoms. Anyways, we talked about how, kind of how we felt about our YouTube journey, and my take, because I had people ask me, so are you out of the YouTube thing? Are you retired? I'm like, no, I'm not really retired, but I'm like out of the race. Like I don't feel the need to be to compete or to try and do the latest and greatest or keep up with whatever the algorithm wants you to do. I just don't want to do that. I'm happy to do this, and I'm happy to put out videos here and there when I think I've got something worthwhile. And that's it. And that's okay. And I'm happy for people like Lewis, who does a great job. And there's several others that do home assistant videos and LED videos, and that they do a great job. Great. Do it. Go. And if I see good things, I'll tell you guys, go watch them. It's okay. That's great with me. But what has happened that's been really neat, I didn't get to meet Reed. Reed didn't come to our meetup. I know he was there, and I guess some of the guys had met up earlier in the week. I was only there. I got there Wednesday evening and really was only there Thursday. And then a lot of those guys, like especially guys that were flying, that had long trips to fly home, they left Friday morning, even though technically the conference went later Friday. Thursday was the last day that everybody was there. So I didn't get to meet Reed. I met Reed in the past. I met Reed the last time I was at CES, which was like 4 years ago. Just do whatever you like to do. That's right. Let's do whatever I like to do. And it was nice to hear people, some of those guys that, even some of the home assistant guys, the guys that work for Nabu Casa, they're like, I do home assistant because of you. Talking to me, they're like, I do this because of you. Now this is my life. This is my job. And so that was kind of fun. So that was, if there was ever a time where I thought, well, how much longer am I going to do this? I don't know if I want to do this. That's gone for another, who knows how long now. I mean, I'm rejuvenated. That was fun. So I'm still going to be streaming. I'm still going to be doing videos here and there when I got things that I want to say. No need to compete. Just love sharing your stuff, right? That's right. Just do your thing. And they were talking about everybody's got their niche. Like Rob does his comparisons. Travis is like to get your crap out the cloud, and everybody's got their kind of little things. My thing is, they said this was not me saying what my thing was. This was other people telling me, oh, this is what your thing is. My thing is I'm the everyman, right? I'm the guy that doesn't really know what he's doing, that puts some stuff together, tries to figure it out, maybe breaks it, maybe it works, learns something along the way, have a good attitude about it. That's my niche. That's my thing. And that's the great part is that is genuinely me. So I don't have to change anything to try and be that. Reed is the dad. I was thinking that. I was like, what's Reed's niche? Reed's niche was like the family guy, right? He's the dad. Yeah, no kidding. That's the truth. He's a good dude. So the other thing that I will tell you about is what has been really successful financially for me, much more than YouTube in particular, right? Like I can't tell you the last time I looked at how much money came in from YouTube. It's not very much, and it's fine. But all of the website sales kinds of stuff is what's been good, you know? And if I can keep that going, that will end up being something I can do in retirement when I don't feel like taking call and being in the OR all the time. So I thought, you know, but I do, and I love the LED things, and I'm very much invested in Quindor and his products, and I love it, and it's perfect, and it's great, but it drops off in January. So I was thinking, what can I do? What can I add? And I've added a few things here and there. You know, I had the LAN bond switches. I've had some Athom, whatever those guys are, the guys that kind of mass produce some ESP home stuff. And I thought about the guys that sent me this a while back. You guys remember this? The Air One. This is Apollo, right? If you guys remember Apollo, any of you guys have Apollo stuff, Apollo switches, or not switches. They have sensors. They do sensors mostly. So they have the Apollo sensors. And those guys were there. So I met up with those guys and chatted with them for a while. And I'm going to start carrying the Apollo stuff in my store. Apollo Automation. So they make a few different sensors, and they've got a great attitude. They've got a great attitude. They kind of do things the same way most of us in this community think is the right way to do stuff, you know? And I love to hear them even saying that, like, some of their newer things that they're doing, they did because they asked the community. They asked the people that buy a lot of their stuff. They said, you know, what do you want us to make next? Like, they made this air quality sensor. They've got two different presence sensors that are multi-sensors. Right? They got other stuff in them too, but they're people detector sensors. And the community was like, oh, we want a soil sensor. Yeah, and made in the USA. Not just made in the USA, like made in their garage. So that's awesome, right? They went to their community, and the community said, we need a plant sensor. And they're like, really? You want a plant sensor? Like, there's plant sensors are cheap. You can get them on AliExpress for like nothing. And the community responded with, no, those plant sensors on AliExpress are garbage. Like they corrode, they just don't last, they're junk. And they're like, we need a good plant sensor. And so they said, okay. So they went in through the process of like, what's wrong with those plant sensors that you can get for cheap on AliExpress or whatever. And they came up with a better one. And they were showing it to me there. And I'll keep this in, I'll have, this will be one of the things I'll have in my store as well. But they've got like this super duper coating stuff on the outside of the probe. They make one that takes a battery, like this one here. You put a 18650 battery, rechargeable battery in it, and it'll last for like a year on that battery. And then you just charge that battery for an hour, a couple hours, and then put it back in for a year. It's not waterproof right now. The enclosure and the circuit board's not waterproof, but they're looking into that. They've also put on here like a temperature sensor thing and stuff. So, but for me, the air quality sensor and then really these presence sensors are what's going to be, I think, that I'm really, really excited about. So watch for that. I've already talked to them about how many I want, and they put them together by hand. So they're usually pretty good, and they've got some stock already ahead. But I'll start carrying some of those in my store. And then this is a good one too. I also talked to Paulus and their hardware guy about carrying the Home Assistant hardware in my store as well. So I'm going to start doing that too. I'm going to have the Home Assistant Green. I'm going to have the ZBT1 and the Voice and whatever else they come out with I'm going to start carrying in my web store as well. So I will keep. I won't have. I don't think I'll ever have a ton of things, although I have more than right now than I ever thought I would. But it's always only going to be things that I think are really pretty good. So, and then, I went away from the Apollo. The Apollo guys are also working on a parking assist device. So this is like and that is Apollo right there. That's the dog. He's a German Shepherd. But this is a parking assist device. Actually, this is the soil sensor and something else that they're showing. But anyways, they're working on this park assist with ultrasonic sensors, which I did. You guys remember that? I did that years ago with my, I hacked together something with ESP Home probably 3 years ago or more. So, thanks, Robert. How about PoE Home Assistant hardware? That's a good question. That's a good question. And we'll have to ask him about that. I know, doesn't Home Assistant, did they ever end up, Home Assistant Yellow was one that for a time had PoE capability. Yeah. So PoE optional, but that's just that's the core. That's the Home Assistant Yellow, which the difference between the yellow and the green is that the yellow comes with the Zigbee and Thread antenna in it, and the green does not. The only other one that would be PoE, right, would be maybe this one, which I don't think the voice even has an Ethernet connection, does it? I don't think it does. I think the voice just has a speaker and a USB-C for power. But yeah, I mean, that's something to consider. A lot of people like PoE. So anyways, I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be a great way to introduce some new people, because I think a lot of people that go to my store, they're looking for LED stuff, and they may not really realize what else is available, or might be nice for them to just get some things with one-stop shop kind of stuff, and then helps me get a little closer to retirement. So that was exciting. That was fun. That was my my goals going there for CES were to meet Frank and Paulus and the gang, go see the Aptera. And I knew the Apollo guys were going. We had talked about it ahead of time. And so I wanted to meet up with them and talk to them about hardware stuff. And the conversation between me and Paulus about hardware for them was kind of fun, because I think both of us wanted to talk about that, but weren't quite sure how to introduce it or if it was going to be well received by the other. And as soon as he started saying something like, yeah, we're looking for more distributors, I'm like, dude, yes, right now. Yes. Sign me up. So it was fun. Had a great time at CES. So sweet. All right. Oh, and then let's talk for a minute about sort of my 2025 plans. You guys want to hear about that a little bit? And then we can do whatever you guys want to do. If we could plug back in the air and look at this again, these Apollo sensors, because I had them out a while back, and I hooked them up on a stream a while back and set them up in Home Assistant. It was really good, worked really well. Very happy with them. And then I thought, I really want these up at the Hobbit House. Hobbit House. What, are you gonna get sued? I really wanted these up at the Hobbit House. So I disconnected them and packed them up to take up to the Hobbit House, and then I lost them. I couldn't find them. I didn't know where they were. And I had been looking for them, and I was like, doggone it, where did I put those? And then when I was going to CES, and I got out one of my little travel bags, that's where I had put them. They were in there, probably because I packed them up to go up to the Hobbit House, and then I forgot that's where I had put them. So anyways, I'm going to have more of them now, so I can actually go ahead and hook these up and leave them here. And then when I get new ones, I'll use the new ones up at the Hobbit House. So we can poke around with those a little bit. So here's if you're thinking about, or if you want to think about what videos might Justin put out this year, I got the new Sphere videos to do. So I got to work on that. Very, very close to being done. The last thing that I'm working on with the Sphere, and I'm talking the Atlas, right? I'm talking about the big one, the one that I put on the trailer and all that stuff. Oh, we could go through those pictures too if you want. We should do that. Let's go back out of this. So I'm gonna put out a video about the Sphere and about how we resurrected the Sphere. The last thing that I need to do for that is, when we had it made out of plywood, there was a lot of a lot of flex in the shape. It was never really a very good sphere. It always kind of shifted and flexed and changed. So when we were putting the pixels on them, on the sphere, it didn't quite work out the way that we had calculated it would work out. Speaking of, how's the Hobbit House? Haven't heard an update in a long time. That's on my list, Lights on Peacock. A new Hobbit House. A new Hobbit House. A new Hobbit House. Yes, you heard me right. Another one. Okay. So I'm going to do the sphere. I have to take out some pixels. And taking out some pixels, because now it's a very good, firm, very solid sphere shape. And so I'm using the same pixels and I'm wrapping the pixels around and I'm going, crap, I wrap a row of pixels around and I got like extras. I got like 3 pixels too many in some places or 1 too many, and so I'm going to have to cut all those out. And that's going to mean redoing the whole model in X-Lights to make it really look like we want it to look. So that's going to take a little time. I'm not sure I'm going to wait to finish the video before I do that, because I don't know how long that's going to take. So I've started on the video. I've got a lot of I think I've got all the footage that I need, or a lot of it, not all of it maybe, but a lot of it. So that's a priority, is to get the new Atlas Resurrection Phoenix, rising from the ashes video for the sphere. So that's one big one. I'm going to do a quick one on the Aptera because I like it and I just want to get the word out and I want people to see it and talk about it. So I'm going to do a quick Aptera video at some point. And then I'm going to be doing, I actually ran into the Lumery guys and they gave me some of their seed matrices, and I'm going to do seed matrix video. I'm going to make a seed matrix. I've got the Lumery one, and I'm going to compare that with what you can build yourself and why you might want to do what they've got, which is great, versus build your own. So I'm going to do seed matrix video because I'm interested in that for sure. Lazarus sphere. I was saying Phoenix. It's a Phoenix. The 2-bit house. Nice. Hobbit Part 2. Nice. I like that. The 2-bit house. And then that's the other thing. So for those of you guys that remember, this past summer, Janice and I randomly found another kit that was made by the same people who made the Hobbit House kit that we bought. The Ray Wu seed curtains too will do. I'm going to check out several of them. I'm going to get some from, because some of them are, I want to determine, this is one of those things where I want to determine, is it a buy or build? Is it worth it to build it, or should you just buy it? And if you wanted to build it, what would be the motivation for building it yourself? So I'll be hitting up the pixel heads a lot on that topic for sure, because I'm going to want your input on what you guys know already or what you think is important, etc. So, so anyway, we found this kit that somebody had bought and had never put together. It's like 6 or 8 years old. It's an older kit from their original stuff. Where did I get it from? Facebook. Facebook, Lawrence. It was on Facebook Marketplace. There was a guy here in Utah that bought it, and this never took it out of the storage container. So we got a very, very good deal. We weren't really interested in buying it when he was for the price he was initially selling it. We ended up buying it for less than a third, or about a third of what he was initially listing it for. A price that made it so it was almost worth it just for the storage container that came with it. So we got it, but then the company name, so there you go. In my search, so the thing about this new Hobbit House, the 2-bit house, is it's a model that they don't make anymore. And so far, we haven't dug deep into the storage unit. It's like a 40-foot, shipping containers, and I haven't dug deep in there, but it doesn't look like we have the instructions. So you can imagine that might be a problem. We can piece it together, right? It's just Legos when it comes down to it. We can piece it together, but it could be difficult. So I was searching the internet, trying to find the company that we bought the house from. And the problem was, well, let's do it this way. I'll do it this way with you. It was Green Magic Homes. All right. So not Green Magic Club. That's for Green Magic Club is for owners. Okay. So Green Magic Homes. So Green Magic Homes was the company. Now they had, like a lot of companies do, Green Magic Homes had some issues internally, right? Some of the high ups had some issues, and they had a breakup, and that just happened like this past summer. And the one company, that other company that I found was called like Tech Blocks or something, and they're like, oh yeah, that's us. We're the Green Magic Homes, and I was looking at their stuff, and it wasn't the same. They didn't have a lot of like roundness to their stuff. It was more square and everything. Anyways, just recently, I just discovered this past week that Green Magic Homes website now tells you to go to Wonderful Structures. And I was like, oh, okay, Wonderful Structures. So I go there, and then I said, oh, now this is Green Magic Homes. These are the guys, right? They even have pictures. And I was actually told them, I told them, hey, why don't you have pictures of my house on there? Because like you need to put pictures of my house on there too. So because they had pictures of my house on there initially. So anyway, so they're resurrected, and it's now Wonderful Structures. And I got a hold of the guy, and we've been texting over the last few days and stuff. And see, they're even doing it like I did it. Like I learned how to do it this way with the sandbags. I told them do sandbags. They're doing sandbags now. So very excited, and they were excited to get back in touch with me. They've been the high ups that know me have been busy doing other things. So the guy that I made contact with, who does work for them and knows them, is much more accessible for me. So I'm able to meet with him and talk to him and stuff. So anyways, they're going to be able to, if not provide us with the plans, at least give us support, at least support us when we're trying to put it together. And then, this makes it possible now once again to potentially build more later on, because we made connection with the right guys again. So very happy about that. Very excited about that. So we're going to start a new Hobbit House journey this summer. So I need to meet with the architect and start working on what we're going to do to the land up there and how we're going to start making that all go together. And what I'm hoping is that when we first started the idea of building the Hobbit House, that was going to be like a main focus of the channel, right? I was going to make a whole lot of content about the process of building that house. And that would have been really cool. And it didn't happen because we did the TV show instead. And I don't think that the only good part about the TV show was that we got it finished faster. We finished it sooner than we would have otherwise finished it. But the rest of it, I think we would have done much better as far as, publicity and views and even affiliate sales of these things, if anybody else wanted to buy these kinds of things, than we did because of the TV show. So anyways, I'm very happy that we got the opportunity, or we're getting the opportunity now to build another one and do it in a way that's more our pace. We're not at the mercy of the TV company to do it exactly when we're going to do it. So am I going to do another TV show? No. I asked Janice, I was like, do you want to do this with the TV show? And she's like, no. But what I will do is a much better running video, YouTube, follow along. This is what we went through when we were building it process than I did the last time. So it's going to be good. It'll still be good. Hey, Bill. Great seeing you. Thanks for saying hi. How's it going? Yes, Sir Pendragon. Oh, I was showing your picture. Let me see. This is Bill right here. Isn't this you, Bill? Is that you? I think this is Bill. Sir Pendragon, if I recall. Is that right? Am I recognizing your face correctly? Good times, good times. Another thing that the Green Magic Home guys are doing now that they weren't doing before is they're doing these bio homes. So the guy who invented the Green Magic Home process teamed up with the guy who's now really old. He's like at least in his 70s, that invented Earth ships, right? Or I don't know if it was the original guy or if it's just a guy who's very active in it. I don't know exactly. I don't know people's names in that world yet, but I did definitely dig into the Earth ship idea a little bit. Where can you get the pic? Text me, just send me a message on Discord and I'll get it to you. Actually, I think Paulus took that picture, so they might post it in the Home Assistant forums, but just send me a DM on Discord. Or actually, I think I posted it on Discord. So if you go to my Discord, it's posted in the general chat. Scroll back to sometime yesterday, I posted it there. So anyways, they've got kits now for using the Green Magic Home structures with components that make it an Earthship, which is really cool because to me, if you guys have seen the Earthship stuff, the hardest part about the Earthship stuff is actually getting the materials to make them, because part of the concept is, well, you got to make it out of like tires and glass bottles and blah, 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 and you need like how much cement and all this. And so tough to do. So what these guys have done is said, okay, the concept of the Earthship is really good in that it could be like completely self-enclosed. Like you can grow food in there, you can process your waste in there, you can do a lot of stuff. Your heating and cooling should be super efficient if you do it through these, channels in the ground, these tunnels and stuff. So you should be able to do some really good, very efficient living, self-contained biosphere kinds of concepts. But you don't want to spend, 3,000 man hours piling tires to do it or whatever, right? You can actually buy a kit that will show up at your house, show up in your property, and you put it together, and then it's a bio home. So that's a really exciting thing. And they're actually the first one in the U.S. he was telling me, is being shipped to Arizona soon. They're in the manufacturing part. The guy in Arizona bought it, and the factory is building it, building all the parts for it and getting it all together for him. And then they're going to ship it out. And they asked me, and I said yes, if I would be a part of their construction when they go out there to build it. And I was like, heck yeah, Arizona's not far. I can go to Arizona for a few days and be a part of that build. So that'll be really exciting. Hopefully that really works out the way I think it will. So that's fun. So there's and that's like the first half of 2025 for me. That'll probably get us through like July or August, and then we'll see what happens after that. As far as building the 2-bit house, I don't think we'll get a whole lot of the structure put together this year. We might. I could be totally wrong. My goal is to get the road and the foundation laid for it so that we can start figuring out how we're going to put that thing together. See, that's the problem. Us old guys were born way too early, and we're going to miss out on all the cool stuff. And that's me. Oh yeah, that is you. Nice. So Hobbit House, Apollo. Oh, I guess if there's one more thing that I would say came out of CES that I didn't mention, and I should have. Hopefully, Doug, don't get your feelings hurt, Doug. I just slipped my mind. The other guy that I met up with that was very exciting to reconnect with was Doug from Shelly. Are you in the United States? Redirect to US Shelly. Yes, please. Yes, please. So I met up with, this was one where I walked past, me and Frank had just barely connected. We were just like, hey man, how's it going? We'd like, let's walk around. He had, those guys had a lot of meetings with people to go talk about stuff. A lot of people wanted to meet and chat with the Home Assistant guys, as you can imagine. So me and Frank were just walking around, and we walked past the Shelly booth, and Doug, who's like, I'm not sure exactly his role. He's got an important role in Shelly and their US market. So he's like, Justin, don't leave. He was like in the middle of talking to somebody. Don't leave. I need to talk to you. So we sat down and talked for a long time. And I like Shelly stuff. It's no secret. It's not like I haven't done a lot of stuff lately with their devices, but I depend on Shelly. If the Hobbit House up at in my Idaho Hobbit House, if it's giving me troubles, all of this stuff that's really important, the generator, the water heater, the air circulator, the hot tub, the geothermal, this is all run on Shelly's. So in fact, I'm looking at this going, hey, I got plenty of power in the battery and I'm making solar. Let's turn the heat on in the house because it's a little chilly. It's like 60 degrees in there. So anyways, but I said, what Doug said was like, what can I do to get you to do more Shelly content? And I was like, you don't have to do much. Like, I love it. I just need to think of that. And he goes, there's plenty of things that, because Doug probably knows how to use Shelly's and what they're capable of better than just about anybody. So I said, well, part of the problem maybe is that I don't necessarily know all the things that you can do with a Shelly. So him and I are going to chat about things I need what I need to do and how Shelly can make that happen. And so then we'll do some videos about that. Like they've got they've got LoRa now, and I know that like one other thing that I need to add to the Hobbit House that I don't have right now is the ability to communicate with my well pump that fills my well tank. It's just not, it can't function automatically correctly. And that's part of that is being off the grid and the way we did the power. And it just, when it turns on its auto cycle, it powers right back off because the voltage is too low. It sucks on the batteries. The inverter can't give the well pump what it needs. And in its attempt to protect my well pump, the VFD that runs the well pump shuts it off. And so it doesn't run automatically. And then there's also been an issue where it gets full and it doesn't shut off. So it gets full and then it just overflows. And so now my whole area up there gets flooded when that happens. So I need a little bit of that. Safely monitor tune and control electric dryer. Oh, it probably can. So anyways, what we're going to find out, Robert, and I'm glad that Mr. Hank, I'm glad that you're a big Shelly fan too. What we're going to find out is what has changed, but what is newest in Shelly, and I'll have Doug as a resource for me to say these are all the things that Shelly can do. Let's show the world a bit more of what Shelly can do, because I seriously believe that Shelly is, especially when it comes to just things like these relays and stuff, they are amazing. They do so good, and their app. One of the things that I depend on, I can't depend on Smart Life, and because Shelly, you can have the cloud or not have the cloud. It's up to you. They have a premium thing. I don't know what premium does, but we'll find out. They've got all the different kinds of protocols like built in, like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and Zigbee and Matter and whatever. They've got, or I guess not Matter, maybe Thread. I don't know, but anyways, they do a really good job, and then their app is just really dependable, and it's really nice looking, and they put some real effort into making it functional, not just like, oh, we need an app, let's make an app, and then you get Smart Life, the Tuya apps or every variety of Tuya, because that's just about everything now. They do a lot better job. So, anyways, it'll be fun, and I'm glad we'll resurrect. I don't think if they want me to, I may. If they're interested, I may select a few things from Shelly to carry in my store as well. I don't think it would be everything Shelly has to offer. I do have to manage the bandwidth a little bit, because I just have, this is all in my house that I'm selling this stuff out of my house, and we're packing it and shipping it ourselves. And I don't want that to be the limiting factor to it being a successful business, but I got to be careful of what I keep in stock and what actually gets sold and what makes sense. But I'll definitely introduce the idea, because I think you could probably, I know that they have a warehouse and they ship things out of here. I know they have Amazon. I would expect that they not lose money. They don't make as much money on the stuff they sell on Amazon as the stuff that they sell directly. So I would be happy to have some of their things on my site as well. So, can you use a Shelly to make your gas fireplace start? Dude, you can use a Shelly to do anything. Seriously, you can use a Shelly, because basically you can, at some level, everything, with a few exceptions, I'll have to say caveat a little bit, but with very few exceptions, everything can be controlled by closing a contact. Everything. There's some differences, right? Like data for LEDs is not just a closed contact. There's actual data that goes back and forth. So if it's something that's got actual data, zeros and ones that are going back and forth, you can't control that with a contact. But most things, like certainly even your gas fireplace starter, at some point, that's just a closed contact. That's just, positive and ground coming together, or ground, being separated and then coming together and completing a circuit. Anything like that, yes, you can control it with a Shelly or any other relay device, really. But that's what a Shelly is at its core, is a relay device. And I like, at this point, because the integrations are so good, you don't, like, I like using ESP Home. But if Home Assistant's ever not working, if I ever do something and break an integration, or if I update and didn't do something right and Home Assistant goes down, it's been very, very rare for several years now, but I still have flashbacks. Some of us still have PTSD over some of that. Rather than have my most critical things be on an ESP home device, I have my most critical things on a Shelly. And that way, if there's a Home Assistant down something, I can just go to the Shelly app and it can control it just as easily without anything else. Shelly would have a presence sensor with PIR and M-Wave sensor. Well, Nicholas, Apollo does. So Apollo does, and Apollo stuff is going to be in my store pretty soon too. So, yeah, but Shelly, Shelly does everything well. So whatever they do, whatever they choose to do next, I'm sure they'll do a good job. Need a high wife approval factor. Have you looked at the Shelly app? The Shelly app is really pretty nice, and it's like super customizable. And it's super customizable, and it's got a nice aesthetic. It looks really good, and you can do things like custom pictures. Like all of my stuff, when you look at my Shelly app, I'll show you my Shelly app. So my Shelly app, all they're actual pictures of the thing that I'm controlling. Like that's a picture of the hot tub. This is a picture of the geothermal tank. That's a picture of the fireplace. That's a picture of Home Assistant. I guess a little bit closer. That's a picture of the generator. That's a picture of the, it's like, it's really fun to be able to do that. And then when you look at, if I were to go to the home screen, let's see, the home screen here. I got some stuff that's at the Hobbit House and some stuff that's in my office. And so I've got a picture of my office, a picture of that. So it's just really got a nice aesthetic, and it's customizable, and, I like it. It works. It works well. So, what else? High wife approval factor here. Hook up the normal light switches and even Home Assistant, everything is down. So that's the other thing. So I've had issues, starting to have issues now with some of my Sonoff T1 switches. You remember the Sonoff T1 switches? They were the capacitive touch 3 relay switches you could get for like $20, which 4 or 5 years ago was a big deal. They're starting to have troubles. They're just not quite as responsive. Some of them work fine. Sometimes they don't. I'm ready to move on. And I was talking to Travis. This is an interesting thing too. So here's a detour. I was talking to Travis, and we can bring this up, but you have to think about de-smartifying your home, right? Heaven forbid, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. We don't know when. Hopefully it's planned enough that we can go through the process of like taking the stuff out of our house that would make it impossible to use for somebody else when they move in, or for our spouse and our kids to use without us. So a great thing about Shelly is they're so small that they're very easy to put in line with regular switches and a regular setup. So we can do, we can take a Shelly and just put it in the switch box behind all the wires and the switches that are in there. And if the Shelly's not working, or if Home Assistant's not working, you can still flip the switch on and off, and it'll work just like it normally would. And you may never know that this Shelly is in there. And the people who move into the house may never know, or may never care, and may never want to use it. Oh, well, that's fine. So you don't have to you have to do, if you do it right, you can make it so that you don't have to de-smartify your home when you die, or when you move out or sell the house or whatever. And using something like the Shellys that can just be put away in the wall, is great. And I would expect, and I don't know how this is going to pan out, but I'm going to find out. I would expect that it would be fairly simple to transfer, maybe like your Shelly house profile or something to a new user, like share it with somebody else. If not, I definitely will talk to them about it, because I think that's something that we need to start thinking about that, right? Smart home stuff's been going on now 10-ish years or something. Those of us that do it, we're not the young guys. We're getting older, and there's older guys than us. And it's not just a matter of whether or not the guys that come next will want to do it. They probably will. But how do you make that transition from one homeowner to another homeowner when you've got a bunch of smart equipment in the house? we need to be thinking about that and coming up with solutions for that. So an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs. I like that. That's the nice part about the Lutron stuff too. Yeah. Have I looked into drop shipping from companies so you don't have to carry stock? I might be able to do that. C# worm, I might be able to do that. Sometimes I feel like my only contribution is that I can pack it and ship it and support it. So when people have a problem, they can talk to me. I think that's, so when I was talking to Paulus about it, I was saying, one of the things that really makes it worthwhile for people to buy the LED controllers from us, besides that Quindor's designs and everything are really good, really robust, there are plenty of cheaper, really, alternatives that they can get from Amazon or AliExpress or whatever. And so if all you want is a really cheap LED controller that runs WLED, there are cheaper, not better, but there are cheaper options. But one of the things that you get when you buy Quindor's stuff, especially from me, Quindor supports the international community, and I support at least the products in the US as well. But you get us, right? You get access to people who really support it. Now, you don't get that from Tuya. You don't get that from, you name your other massive companies. And that's difficult because it's frustrating. And a lot of times the people that they have that are doing the customer service stuff, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know the product nearly well enough to be able to give you support on it. So, anyways, so the drop shipping, maybe, but, we'll see. For right now, because it's worked out so well the way we have done it, and because I already have now this structure of bringing in bulk, redistributing and shipping, that's a value add that we bring. So, and only in some instances might I think that would be a downside. And like bigger products, maybe like if it was a TV or if it was something massive, maybe that would be different, but where the shipping would be very expensive or something like that. But for now, it's pretty good the way it works. Savinka Smart, how's your Emporia system working out? It's working great. Having any issues? No. Mine's been weird since the last few weeks. Oh no, really? No, my system's been pretty good. So if we look at the Hobbit House, all the load stuff. So this stuff is all the Emporia stuff. The reason this is out is because the generator was running and it took out some of the solar capture stuff. But as far as what power is being used by the system up there, no, my Emporia stuff's been pretty solid. Got divorced, left the house full of smart stuff, and they didn't know how to use. That's a good point. Yeah, that's true. Divorce happens too. Hated desmartifying our house when we moved out last year. Yeah, I am not looking forward to it. So I'm rather do it now. And I'm looking at these tasmatized Sonoffs and thinking that's probably not going to be really user friendly for the next group, right? Dr. Z's and Quindor helped me out 3 times during the holidays with my display, so it's true. And a big part of that, I absolutely have to give the credit for the vast majority of the troubleshooting to the Pixel heads. So Marsh, Lights on Peacock, whoever else is hiding here. I saw Turtle was there earlier. You guys and the goodness you bring to the community through being willing to spend as much time as you do giving service for helping people get things working. You will never run out of gratitude from me for that. Okay. I will be always grateful for all the work that you guys do for that. So, and I'm sorry I didn't get any Christmas presents out. I wish I would have. I feel horrible about not having something fun to send out for Christmas for you guys this year. So a lot of Sonoff basics having memory corruption issues on updates of Tasmota, even with a manual reflash. Uh-oh. Yeah. Everything Presence 1 and Lite. Hopefully one day I can get my hands on Everything Presence 1 with Everything Presence with PoE. Oh, that's cool. He's doing an Everything Presence with PoE. That's cool. Love to see someone in Canada be able to stock all the hardware too, but international isn't terrible. I believe the Apollo guys and maybe I think the Home System guys might have somebody in Canada. I think the Apollo guys might be working on somebody in Canada. Unfortunately with the Quindor stuff, we had a really bad experience. We had a really bad experience with somebody that had, some health issues or said they had some health issues. It's hard to know. You hope that they wouldn't lie, and if they were lying, if they aren't lying, that's worse, really, because that means they really did have this problem. But yeah, they took a bunch of orders from people, took a bunch of money from people, and then never delivered. And so between Quindor and I, mostly Quindor, we had to try and make that right with all those people, and that's no good. So you can imagine, especially with Quindor, he's going to be very gun shy to expand his distribution network. So, and it's one thing for somebody to like me. I will order a bunch of stuff in stock. I'll order a bunch of stuff. I'll post what I have in stock, and I'll sell it, until I don't have it in stock, and then I'll wait until I get some more. Or I'll try and stay ahead. But you don't know what you're going to get with a distributor, and you could get a case where somebody takes a bunch of orders and doesn't have the stuff to provide. And then, if that's somebody that you endorsed and you said, hey, this guy is a good guy, go buy your stuff from him. And now you feel obligated to help the people who got hosed when that happened. So pretty awful situation. Does Stubbs need a side gig? Oh man, we need to get Stubbs doing permatrack and everything else too. Yeah. It's a tricky thing. I think the ideal bit of it would be if you already have something sort of established and you're adding products, and then maybe you would add, the WLED stuff, the Quindor stuff or something like that. But anyways, all that stuff. So as far as the Canadian distributor stuff, as far as the Quindor stuff, all that's got to go through him, really, because I don't make those decisions at all. So might not have received anything this year, Doc, but the past year's gifts kept giving while putting up the snow while being 15 out. Thanks so much. Did you? Oh, your hat. I wanted to give you guys a battery pack and some pebbles for your hats, so you could have pixels in your hats, connected to like a Dig2Go and a battery pack. And I know the hoodies kind of got deteriorated, so we'll try and get something going. What we'll do is we'll try and make next year even that much better, and we won't wait until November to start it. Hopefully. Hopefully I can promise that. So, all right, guys. Hey, what else do you want to talk about? Anything else you want to do? Anything else you want to chat about or learn about or whatever? Because probably going to go here in a few minutes. Try and get a little bit of stuff done before dinner time tonight. Dinner's at 4:30 around here, so dinner's in a couple hours. What else are you guys working on? The Pixel hats. My idea was, just take the hats that you already got and then just be able to put some pixels in them. Top hat matrix. My guess would be something with the seeds. Something with the seed pixels. Whoa, that was bright. Whoa. Look at that. Thing's flashing at me. I just decided I'd plug in this Apollo Air 1. I wonder if it's like trying to connect, if it maybe doesn't remember being connected. Let's see if it's got a Wi-Fi here. I thought maybe it would. Oh yeah, Air 1. So then I'll connect it to my home network. Oh, now it stopped blinking. So that was cool. So it was blinking, and then it stopped blinking. And now I'm going to be able to connect it to my home network. Okay. Well, now I'll try to connect to the network. Cool. Seems like the battery in the Hobbit is all over the place. It is very much all over the place. Yes, it is. And part of that is because it's this battery, this one here is my custom built ESP32 with a couple resistors battery monitor. This one gets information. So if you look at this one, you look at the trends, It's a little more stable, right? It does kind of go up and down, and that part of that is probably because of this geothermal load thing. Is why part of why it goes up and down a little bit. But this seems fairly stable. This is off of the Midnight. Midnight is the brand of the solar charge controller. So that's where that one comes from. This one is my ESP32. And this one gives, well, part of it probably is that this one gives more frequent readings, but they're also much more variable. You get a lot more variability with that one than you do with this one. So best Zigbee USB for my first Home Assistant setup as I'm trying to start. Also, anyone know if Narwhal can get set up with Home Assistant? Narwhal, what is Narwhal? I should know what Narwhal is. Zigbee USB, a Home Assistant sells one. So I would get that one. The other thing, so what are you using, Timothy? Are you using the Home Assistant green? I assume you're not using Home Assistant yellow because Home Assistant yellow already has the Zigbee built in, right? So first thing, if you haven't bought your hardware yet, you could buy a Home Assistant yellow, which comes with this module built in that has Zigbee and Thread antenna already in it. So that's one thing that you could do, is get the Home Assistant yellow as your main hardware. If you're using a Home Assistant green or a Raspberry Pi or something else, then you want the ZBT1. And the ZBT1 is the Home Assistant approved, Home Assistant custom Zigbee dongle. And like I said, if you missed this earlier, if you are in the market for a Z-Wave dongle or a Z-Wave antenna, don't buy it now because something's coming. Home Assistant's going to enter the game, and you're going to want to wait for that instead of getting one now and then wanting to get a new one in 6 months when they come out with theirs. Yeah, what is Narwhal? I'm needing to go sort my ESP Home window shade. Decided to go offline. Yeah. What is, I mean, I know what a Narwhal is, but what is, like, is Narwhal is it like an automation thing? What is it? Automatic water exchange system? Is that what it is? What does it do? Is it like a filter? Like some kind of smart water filter? Not heard of it. Oh, RoboVac. Oh, that was the other thing. That was when I talk about things at CES that weren't groundbreaking. It's like they're still doing robot vacuums. Still doing robot vacuums. Come on, man. Nobody. Like what can you really do to a robot vacuum to make it better at this point? Like, yeah, you can do stuff, but it's not groundbreaking. I will say they did have a few more. They had like underwater pool cleaners, which work on the same concept. They had window cleaners, which work on the same concept. Those really aren't that new either. I've seen those before. And they had lawnmowers that work on the same concept. So that's all great, but it's not like incremental, massive improvements. I don't like about CS the wait between products announcements and release. Yeah. So it's tricky, right? You do get a lot of stuff at CES that's like, well, yeah, this has already been done and it's just a little bit better. So what? And then you get stuff that's like so out there that's really cool, but it's going to be years or months before it's released, right? So the sweet spot is something that is new and available within the next few months is the sweet spot. They pick up your socks now, do they really, Marsh? Thank goodness. Do they avoid dog poop? That's the biggest one. Like, you got to be able to avoid the dog poop. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, I think that's about it. That's about all I got. Should we have? I don't know if the kids ever want to come for sign off anymore or not. So I guess we'll push the button and we'll see if they come. We'll see.
It's time for sign off. It's time for sign off.
You know what it's doing? You know what I actually piped in here as well is the Home Assistant. So what you heard here, if you heard it, I don't know if you heard it or not, But what you heard in my office here is the Home Assistant Home Assistant voice making announcements because I hooked it up to my surround speakers in my office here. Amazon and Apple spoil us how they have new things and you can order it and it'll arrive on Friday. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, hardware has been really good for Home Assistant too. New device discovered. Let's check it out. It's going to be the Apollo. Love that. Add that. Yes. Finish. Awesome. Awesome. Way to go, Apollo guys. That was slick. That was slick. Let's see. Where is the Apollo stuff in here now? Why isn't it? It's not up here. Oh, it's going to be under ESP Home probably, right? They don't have their own thing. It'll be under ESP Home. We'll give the kids a minute to show up. Not sure they're going to. Yep, there's the Apollo Air 1. Cool. There it is. RGB light, on, off. Ah, so cool. Clean sense. I don't know what those do. Calibrate. I'll have to read the instructions on this. Visit the device. Ooh, look at that. It's telling you what my CO2 is. I want to know this. So it's looking at the CO2. What if I blow on it? Where does the CO2 come from? If I exhale CO2, it should be more. I don't know. Maybe I need to do some calibration before. Maybe it needs to be calibrated. It does a couple things. The light. I wonder if those are those are RGB lights. That's that. Humidity. I don't know what NOx is. It's got the temperature offset. Oh, good. Are you coming in for sign off? Yay. We still have Grace. Grace still cares. Huh, Grace? Nitrogen, methane, hydrogen. I want to put the methane one in the bathroom. See what happens.
What?
This one doesn't have a light sensor, huh? I need to play with this a little bit. But very abnormal. VOC quality, very abnormal. Oh dear. Oh yeah, look what happened to the CO2. When I blew on it, now it's 3,000 instead of being 1,400.
My hair looks a different color. My hair looks brown.
Your hair does look brown. It's a little bit of, we have some white balance issues with the camera, don't we? How do I like the HA voice preview? I actually like it quite a bit, and it's better. It is better than the other hardwares that we were using for Home Assistant voice. It is definitely better than like the S3 box and some of those, you know. Grace just wants my Dr. Pepper. She also wants my Dr. Pepper, Nicholas. She loves me too. She loves me and my Dr. Pepper. But yeah, I do like the Home Assistant voice preview. I think it's actually really pretty good. I don't know if they're going to be changing it. I don't know what's going to be, you know, coming next and when it will drop the preview version. But yeah, I like it the way it is. I like the dial on it. I like the button on it. I like the light, and it's been really receptive when you talk to it. And it's also been good for playing music because I like to play music through Home Assistant. So you can do that really well and stop it and start it and that kind of stuff. So it's been really good. I have to say, I will recommend the Home Assistant voice. Is it better than Google? Depends what you want. It's getting better. Even because if I set mine up with the Chat GPT so that if I say the wrong thing or if I ask it like a crazy random question, it will pass my random question on to Chat GPT and give me some answer, which it wasn't doing before, right? The other ones weren't doing that before. We didn't have that integration part really set up, or at least I didn't. So, okay, Grace is tired. How do you want to sign off, honey?
I don't know.
Like it's time to take a nap. Here, we need to turn off this light. Okay, yeah, we can do it. We can do it up here. We can do it. See, no. Start up blink. Okay, all right. Let's sign off like we're tired, ready for a nap. Okay. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, adios. All right, guys, we'll see. I am scheduled to work next Sunday, but I will try and squeeze in a window when I can stream for an hour or something like that in between having to go in for people who Timbo, how's it going? Not checked in with you for a year. Hope things are going great. That's complete. Still have loads of Tasmota Wi-Fi devices. I should look at flashing them with ESP Home. I would stick with Tasmota over ESP Home, but it's up to you. Either one. I don't know that there's a big advantage of ESP Home versus Tasmota. The advantage with ESP Home is you can add a lot of other things, but you can do that with Tasmota really now too. So
I have green pants on.
you do have green pants on, but they're not disappearing, or are they? Sort of, kind of, sort of.
They're really black.
All right, guys. Hey, have a good one. See you next time. Bye.